tofu by shoving shit back up my ass. One day, when I was 14, I went to the bathroom to take a shit. It was what felt and smelled like a regular shit until I was pushing out that last turd. For some reason, I couldn't push it out of my body, no matter how much force I put into it. I should mention that I had a bad habit as a kid of spending way too much time sitting on the toilet looking at my phone, a habit which my mother disdained. After spending a good 30 minutes trying to finish, I began to worry that, because I had been sitting on the toilet for a prolonged length of time, the piece of shit lodged in my rectum might actually be my prolapsed asshole popping out of my butt. This sounds pretty ridiculous, but I had coincidentally just recently learned from the internet what a prolapsed asshole is, so it only took a short period of panic for me to come to this unfortunate conclusion. Scared and wanting to preserve my defeated rectum for the hospital to fix, I folded up some toilet paper and tried to shove my butthole back into my butthole. It kind of worked. It was back inside, and my hole was no longer dilated. Interestingly, there was nothing on the toilet paper after I did this, so it further entertained my belief that it was not a piece of shit, but actually my flesh that was poking out. Once I was out of the bathroom, I was completely unable to relax my rectum. It felt like, if I relaxed it, it would all come falling out immediately. I was pretty terrified at this point, fearing that my butthole was ruined, and that I would need to get surgery to repair it. After a couple of hours of desperate googling, I worked up the courage to tell my mom what happened and to ask her for help with my broken ass. I went to her room, woke her up, and told her that my butthole was falling out of my butt. Mom simply told me, "I told you not to be in there for so long." I knew this would happen. Put some Vaseline on it, and went back to sleep. My mother's loving words did little to assuage my despair. I felt like a shell of a person for the whole day, having to keep my ass clenched for hours, unable to even sit comfortably. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, so I said fuck it, and decided to go relax my ass on the toilet. If it was already prolapsed, I figured I might as well let it be prolapsed. So I went to the bathroom, sat down, and pushed. I did this in tears thinking that I would have a little ballsack hanging out of my butthole when I was done. A couple minutes later, I emerged from the bathroom with a regular butthole and empty bowels. Turns out that it was actually a hard piece of shit that was lodged in my anus all day, waiting right at the gates of my ass, which is what caused the discomfort. So now I spend a maximum of 5 minutes in the bathroom, for my own sanity. TL, doctor, I thought I shit my rectum out, tried to shove it back up my ass, turns out it was just shit and I just shoved shit back up my ass. Boyfriend insists on wearing sock over his penis. Relationship advice. I can't believe I'm actually writing this. My boyfriend recently moved into my apartment, unofficially. We have been together for 3 years and have been planning on it for a while, but were delayed because I had COVID. He still has his place for a while, but we are planning on finding a different place when both leases are done. I didn't expect any issues with living together, but this one thing is driving me insane. He likes to take a shower at night and then hang out in the living room for a few hours. The problem is that, after he showers he doesn't want to put on clothes. The first time he came out in the living room completely naked I shut the blinds, and he got upset because he would have to open them in the morning. I said okay, put on clothes or at least underwear then. He wanted to meet in the middle by wearing a sock over his penis. I started shutting the blinds when he gets in the shower, but then he just comes out and opens them and gets upset because he says he's covered up with the sock. I'm just worried someone is going to walk by and see him naked through the window. When I try to explain this, his reason is I work hard all day. I just want to relax at night. He also says that it's his place too, and he should have a say in how things go. He has also said that he likes the light from outside and doesn't want it too dark, so it seems like he's been changing his story. This isn't a deal breaker, it just makes me really uncomfortable, and I don't know how else to address it. If the blinds were closed I'd have no problem with it. I've never dealt with anything this ridiculous. What else should I do? Why the fuck are my posts not getting more upvotes? This is unfair. First of all, I am 26, am a highly qualified redditor, charismatic great comedian, and have an above average IQ, 156, with a ton of karma points, 11,987, and my posts are top notch. Lately I've spent hours, free, editing a Keanu wholesome, 100, joke, explaining how everything is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference whilst using only one of my hands. I was jogging at that time too, with a mobile device in my other hand plugged into a computer. I'm very buff by the way, so it was an easy task to carry both of these devices. So yeah, back to the story. The post did only get a few, 1,600, upvotes. Like what the fuck, this is such bullshit. One guy even commented about how cringe my masterpiece joke is. Absolutely no respect, I know right? So of course I told him to go commit suicide. My reply only got a few, 56, upvotes again, which got me super mad. I still want to scream whenever I remember, and it makes me feel like this website is ran by such scummy people, hence why everyone has such hive mentality. Of course, I'm different and special, because I have some common sense compared to everyone else. I'm always polite, always, and carefully pick my words. I have spent thousands of dollars, 420,000 euros, along the years, 13, on this garbage app which is still regret. I can't even imagine what trash the employees that work for this company have purchased with my money. Truly disgusting. So I deserve better than this. I'll leave you a last one chance to give me more karma points, 69,000, or you're done for Reddit. I've worked for the CIA, 14 years, and I'm still amongst the most important generals that have ever lived on Earth, so I can easily send in the special forces to assault the HQ after we're done taking over, and let me tell you, it will be a bloody mess. My aim with any sniper rifle in existence is formidable. I can do 360 quickscopes all the time. I've once hit a ton, 40, of targets in under a minute, 15.3s. Maybe I'll share the story at some point on my own subreddit, but anyway, let me get straight to the point. I will code bots to auto upvote every post and I'll get the karma I actually deserve, 690,000, and everyone will be forced to give me attention. No more r/PewDiePie submissions, no more r/teenagers, it will be just yours truly, the king. The site will also be renamed to something that fits, Chanka Hub, and it'll remain popular for many years, 64. There will be many world records achieved by it, Chanka Hub, that the current Reddit could never get close to achieving. We will be sponsored only and only by Raid, Shadow Legends instead of the garbage ads that barely pay out as of right now. I will be more wealthy than anyone ever. Even Obama will sponsor the project and reveal his last name later on the timeline, when I would have invented the dimensional rift and portal gun. NTA. Is tight pussy. Companionship. Steve Jobs began walking towards those who were giving him their undivided attention in his keynote theater. No matter how hard we seek, how relentlessly we try, nothing is sufficient in the end. The screen behind him glowed, a white cube with one side of which had a silver, tiny Apple logo, the opposite side having a hole leading to a compartment lined with slick, thick rubber in a natural fleshy pink color. Steve gestured to it. The iCube. The audience applauded, like they had no idea what the hell was going on. Now, a real iCube was brought upon stage. The audience marveled and murmured at its form. As of May 10th, 2010, Apple has reserved all rights for the once known as Companion Cube. And yes, under Apple code, I'm required to test all products I endorse. Steve Jobs loosened his pants zipper. Zip. But it didn't go any farther from there, for now. Jobs then began this escapade in the most innocent way possible, by engaging the thing in a romantic conversation. Hello there, Siri. Hello, Steve. I have been expecting you. The audience was expecting me for what, exactly? Steve knelt, facing the pink rubbery thing. The material began to flex, as natural as ever, with ever so little mechanical noise. Those Apple technicians knew what they were doing, Steve thought to himself. Steve's unzipped fly now had a plain as day bulge inching its way upward and forward, like some sort of burrowing animal pushing and shoving its way up through packed dirt. The audience yet again ed at the impossible feat of Steve's dick stiffening too, yet another idea of his brought to life. Yes, Steve Jobs was getting a hard on from his technology. Did it ever happen before? Yeah. I know what you want, Siri. Steve did the unthinkable. He whipped out his stylus. The audience partook in this mating by, you guessed it, touching themselves. An audience full of eager Apple spectators were turned into fapping, frenzied technophiles. Demetri in the front row felt his iPhone vibrating deep in his anal cavity, trying to synchronize with his Lord and Savior in front of him. Moaning filled the hall. Steve's package, before it met iCube/Siri's moist cavern, was a dark pink, almost red with throb, staff with plump, juicy veins wound around it like unkept vines on a tree or telephone pole. Siri's voice wasn't a normal voice at this point. It was deeper, slower, like, slutty. OHH, Steven. I can feel you now, going deeper and deeper within me, to plant your seed like it was nothing at all. Keep on ramming your hard disk into my drive. My wet hot drive. With all his might and force, Steve gave it all he got, without warning. As he did so, he felt not only the entire length of his member become concealed in Siri's slimy mucousy ejaculation, but the tip of his dick crash head on with her almost real uterus's wall. To that, he threw his head back, his eyes rolling as he exhaled sharply into the theater's atmosphere. He was almost there. With just another thrust into her, and he would come. MMMPH. S Siri. I'm G-gonna. Siri shouted, with as realistic of a female voice as ever. Yes, Steve. Make me brimful. Make me overload with liquid you. Huff. Gasp. Pant. OHH. That's it. Yeah. The audience, including the i3 fanfiction shirt-wearing Redditor in the front row, had came by now, their ejaculate creating a rather dank-smelling perfume throughout the hall. Siri's female ejaculation spat and drooled out of her realistic vag, spreading out onto the glossy black stage. Steve's cum just shot right up there, into Siri's reproductive system, him caring less whether it was gonna make a baby or not. All that mattered was that he had finally broke every physical/reproductive boundary possible for AI. All across every last inch of this earth. He was going to be remembered here on out for this. I'll be able to enter all of you soon. But for now that, Steve panted, getting his softening dick back into his pants, is the iCube. Believe it or not, he got a standing ovation from the audience, as if they didn't see artificial intelligence raped right before their eyes. To that, Siri, back to her normal tone of voice, said, I can already feel you spreading inside me. The audience watched with their money in their hands as the new Apple product used and drip, begging to be next.